Hi and welcome to task 33.3. I hope your keyword practice went well, and please keep practicing the word banks of every other unit whenever you get time to revise. In this task we are going to revise how enzymes work. We will be focusing on the lock and key model, the induced fit model, and enzymes and activation energy. At any point, if you feel that I'm going very fast or very slow, feel free to change the speed of the video and watch it, or pause the video if you think it's too fast. Okay, so let's understand the two modes of enzyme action that was actually proposed by different groups of scientists. We all know that in an enzyme catalyzed reaction, two models are proposed on how enzymes work. One is the lock and key and one is the induced fit model. So we are going to check our understanding on these two based on what we studied in module 32. So on your screen right now is an analogy of the lock and key mechanism and how it is compared with enzyme and substrate. You have already studied this in grade 10 about how specific an enzyme's active site is, and only if the substrate is complementary it will fit with the active site of the enzyme, and only then the reaction will start. So the lock is the enzyme and the key is the substrate. Only if the correctly sized key or substrate fits, then the active site will fit with the substrate and the reaction begins. Okay, so the binding point is called the active site, and the enzyme E works by binding to the substrate molecule at a specially formed pocket. So the active site is like a pocket. This concept is called the lock and key hypothesis of enzyme action. An enzyme and substrate will then temporarily form an enzyme substrate complex. When this enzyme substrate complex is formed, the activation energy of the reaction, that is the reaction which the substrate is going to perform, the activation energy gets lowered. So amount of energy that the substrates need to start the reaction, that demand reduces. Therefore the substrate can quickly begin the reaction, and if it involves making or breaking of bonds, that will happen quickly and the product will be released. Okay, so here is a slide showing step-by-step points with clear statements that you need to mention when you are describing the lock and key theory in your answers. So we all know that in the lock and key theory, the enzyme has a cleft or a depression called the active site. The active site and the specific substrate have to be complementary to each other. Make sure your spelling of complementary is correct. Complementary means if the active site is a cleft, then the shape of the substrate should be such that it will fit inside the cleft. Okay. Third point is the substrate meets the enzyme by random movement. We know that particles are always in a state of motion. So when there are enzymes in the environment, like the environment of your cell, then the substrate and the enzyme will collide more frequently, and when they collide, or when because of the random motion, when collisions happen, the substrate will get a chance to fit into the active site. Once that happens, then the R groups of the substrate, okay, so the substrate will also be having some chemical side chains or groups, will form an enzyme substrate complex with the active side of the enzyme. The enzyme will then catalyze the reaction, breaking it apart or joining it. An enzyme product complex is formed. This is a very temporary complex. The enzyme substrate complex is temporary, but enzyme product complex is even shorter in duration, because once the product is formed, the product will leave the enzyme's active site. Now the active site is vacant and a fresh substrate can come and bind to the active site. So the enzyme remains unchanged. You can pause this video and take notes on how to respond to a lock and key theory description or explanation question. If you have already paused and taken notes, I will now like to show you a diagram which explains the lock and key theory in a molecular fashion. So again we look at this polypeptide chain folded into a globular pattern. This is the enzyme actually, and you can see how the substrate also has some side chains, and the active side also has enzymes with R groups. They will form temporary bonds, and this lowers the activation energy of the reaction, this enzyme substrate complex formation. When the activation energy is lowered, the substrate will quickly either make or break bonds, and enzyme product complex will be formed instead, and the product will immediately be released from the active site. Once the product is left, the active site is again free for binding with the next available substrate. So again the process repeats. Moving on to the visual representation of lock and key model. Here you can see how a substrate complementarily fits to the active site. Immediately its activation energy of the reaction lowers, so it can quickly start the reaction and form product. Enzyme product complex is formed and the product is immediately leaving the active site. Now we come to the next model, that is called the induced fit model. Now in this model, this is a better version of description of how enzymes work. This was not known to scientists as long as they were believing in the lock and key theory. But with time and more development in science and technology, it was noticed that the active site's shape is not exactly complementary to the substrate. Most of the time it is noticed that the active site is flexible. That is, after the substrate binds to the active site, then the active site also adjusts itself to become more tightly complementarily packed with the substrate. So the shape of the enzyme, active site and the substrate adjust. How much will it adjust? As long as they fit to the maximum and as long as they come to a 3D shape, which will reduce the activation energy to the most lowest possible. Once the activation energy is lowered, remember this is not the activation energy of the substrate, this is the activation energy of the chemical reaction. So if the chemical reaction's activation energy reduces, means substrates will be able to start the reaction even at a lower energy level. So if you look over here, the active site is this shape. As soon as the substrate binds, the active site adjusts itself to the shape of the substrate and forms the enzyme substrate complex. And then the whole procedure that we studied in the lock and key after this complex formation is the same. So here is another animation. Watch closely as to how the shape of the active site is getting adjusted after the substrate is binding with the active site of the enzyme. With that, we now move to recapping on what does enzyme do with the activation energy and how it increases the rate of a reaction. So this is a very famous graph that you've been studying since grade 8, and this is the activation energy graph. X-axis shows the time with which the reaction is progressing, and the y-axis shows the energy of the reactants and the energy of the product. So as the reaction is about to begin, the energy of the reactants are very high, but they need even more energy to get started, to start the reaction and break bonds or make bonds so that they can form products. Now this is like climbing a hill for the reactants, climbing a hill of energy demand. So what do enzymes actually do? Let's see. So what do you understand from the red and blue curve in the graph? Pause and try to explain. I already told you what the red curve says. Try to explain to yourself what happens in the blue curve. Okay, let's see if you got it right or not. So without the enzymes, the reactants will have to overcome a higher energy hill, okay, which is represented over here as the first EA, the bigger arrow. So higher energy hill has to be crossed by the reactants without the enzymes. So the reaction has to proceed and form product, and to do that some energy is push is needed. Now let's look at the blue curve. With enzymes, the amount of EA is becoming lesser. Look at the graph. So that the reaction can happen more easily. Now what does this actually mean in a real life scenario? In a real life scenario, you can compare this with an example of animals living in the Arctic. Okay, so I think the base of the slide is not visible, but I'll read it out to you. So the example says biochemical reactions occur at body temperatures lower than external environment. This means that animals living in the Arctic and the Antarctic, where the external environment is very, very cold, even then if the body temperature is low, the enzymes will help in catalyzing the reaction by lowering the activation energy, because in cold temperatures particles move slowly, so reactions will proceed so slowly and the animal can die because of slow reactions. But the enzyme helps in lowering the energy demand for the kickstart of the reaction. So now the reactants need very little energy. With the help of enzyme, they will need less energy to get started. So with that less energy only they can start the reaction and form product. You can pause over here and go back to the part from where I began explaining the slide to review this slide if you think you need to understand again. And this is all that the task was, to recap these few important key points to understand how enzymes work. Thank you.